It's Draconian Combat, episode 58 with Maddox. How you doing, Maddox?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing good, doing good. How are you feeling, man? It's been a while since we talked to you, and
I'm
a lot has
feeling
happened.
good.
A lot has happened as far as with your fight career.
Yes, sir. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Been been in camp for about a month now for this fight with Cody, and I'm feeling great.
If you don't mind me asking, what weight classes is it? 145 or 155?
155.
Okay, got you.
Is that a
Now,
hard cut for you?
what are you
What is
saying,
it?
Harrison?
I was asking, is that a hard cut for you, 155, or is it pretty easy?
About 15 pounds. I walk around at 170.
Okay, so nothing too much crazy.
No, not too bad. A lot better than 45. That was bad.
Got you. Okay, so yeah, that 10 pounds makes a difference, right?
Mhm.
I imagine you saw Cody's last fight.
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, you're there. Okay, bet. What were your thoughts? We know he came in on short notice, but were there any sort of weaknesses that you saw that you felt you can exploit? Things of that nature. How are you feeling about this matchup?
I'm feeling very confident about this matchup. I've seen some things that I've always seen in Cody,
Mhm.
and I've watched from all his fights. I've watched all his fights. I've had teammates that fought him.
Yeah.
I've had them giving me little insights on stuff he does. I have a lot of respect for Cody, and he's a great fighter. He's a great champion, and but I do feel like I am going to go out there and I feel like I can beat him. I feel like it's going to be a war, and I feel like everybody that's going to be there for it
Mhm.
is y'all don't want to miss it. Trust me, it's going to be a war. I feel like it's going to be bloody, and I
Yeah.
feel like everybody's going to love that fight.
No, yeah, we're looking forward to it. Are there any things in this game that you see are strengths, things that maybe you're not scared of per se, but that you want to exercise extra caution, things of that nature?
Spinning back kick
Uh-huh.
is something I've really noticed. But I've been working on a lot of good stuff for that, and I have a lot of things that is going to shock him when he throws it.
Gotcha. Michael, I'll let you go.
Oh no, I was going to ask about your mentality going into this fight because I
Mhm.
know, I know you. I think your first loss was to Ian Hibbs.
Yes, sir.
And then you bounce back with a good victory against Buckwall. Now you're going into this fight with Cody. So I guess my question is, off that loss, what's your mentality since then as far as
Let me.
fighting?
I've never let this out before, but I'm gonna let this out now.
Go ahead.
That loss against Ian Hibbs, I cut from 140, 150, no 168 to 146.
Mm.
And that night before, I was staying up all night, throwing up and everything like that. And I walked into that cage at 150 pounds. So I was still dehydrated, still everything. I still have a lot of respect for Ian. He's a hell of a fighter. But
Yeah.
I do believe, I don't know, people can call me delusional, but I still believe I can get the better of him if me and him were to ever fight. I feel like he just caught me on a lucky night.
No,
But
that's how you're supposed to feel. But so you're saying that cut though, it did impact you. It just is what it is. That's what you're saying, pretty much.
it is what it is. I didn't pull out, so there's no really excuses there. I'm just letting y'all know in on the facts because I've never been able to, I had no platform to put it out on.
Uh-huh.
But that cut really got me that time. If you look at pictures from it, I looked horrible. I went home, I started rehydrating, I threw up everything. And it was horrible. And I was up all night. And my dad was telling me, you need to pull out. You need to do that. And I was like, I can't pull out. We're already here. He's already cut weight, everything like that. But I guess that's what the amateur's for. I learned from it. And if that ever happens again, I will pull.
Got
Because
you.
I know the result of it now.
Do you, especially at the amateur level, right? It sounds like you put a lot of pressure on yourself for that fight. I think Ian probably had a lot of hype going into it. You don't want to pull out or look like you're scared of him. What's going through your mind when your dad tells you, "Hey, you should pull out," but you're saying, let me just step to the plate." What's going through your mind?
What was going through my head is that I've already put in all this hard work. I need to go out there and at least try.
Yeah.
Is what I was telling myself. There's no way I could pull out for this one because I was training a couple times a day, getting out of school, going straight to training, and then I'd be there, get out of school at 3 o'clock, and I'd be at the gym till 8, and wasn't able to eat or nothing when I got home. So it was just like it was hell. It was camp, but I had that mentality of going in there, and I still believed I could beat them. So I went out there and I still did it, and I found out the hard way that dehydration can play a big role in a fight.
And I want to give people some context because we're dealing with the MMA prodigy. I think you're 17, right? 17, 18? Yeah.
I'm 17.
17 fighting grown
Kickboxing.
men. And so that's obviously a leap, right? A lot of guys
Mhm.
will stay around their age, but you've already sort of jumped into the lion's den, so to speak. I guess we'll come back to this fight, the cut, and then obviously fighting Cody. But what was your mentality, I guess, in your first fight? You're obviously fighting somebody, a grown man.
Mhm.
What was going through your head? Are you kind of, it doesn't hurt to be scared, or
I
what's
was
going through your head?
I was definitely scared, to be honest, because that whole camp, I
Hmm.
was 15 years old,
Yeah,
and it was on January 20th, which was my birthday, and I turned 16 on the day I was fighting, so I was able to legally fight on my birthday. So I
gotcha.
was 15 that whole time, walked in there, and I was 16 on that day. So, and at the time it was Trevor McDaniel, and he was 28 years old. Oh, thank you. He was 28 years old, so being 15 the whole camp and in your head you're fighting a 28-year-old, that's it gets at you. You're nerve-wracking. I had bad dreams about it, but and I went out there and I just dominated him. So ever
Hmm.
since that fight I've been like, age don't matter. It don't
Right.
matter in this. I mean, of course it does play a big like a role when you go into over into MMA. That's why I'm kickboxing right now, but
Hmm.
when you go over to MMA, that's when man strength plays a big deal, and I understand that. So right now in kickboxing I don't let the age affect me.
Yeah.
Honestly feel like it favors me in a lot of ways, because I feel like a lot of people underestimate me because he's like, oh, he's 17. I'm just gonna go out there and run through him. He doesn't
Mhm.
hit hard, but once I hit them, they'll feel the power they've never felt, and they're like, oh wow, this kid can hit.
No, you made a good point about man strength kicking in, right? And then obviously
Mhm.
yours is going to kick in as you get older and mature. But MMA, I think, obviously with the grappling element, it makes it easier for somebody to impose themselves physically on a younger guy, right?
Mhm.
In kickboxing, are you kind of saying that it doesn't play as much of a part? I guess you guys are operating in the clinch to an extent, but even then, it doesn't really seem like it's, I guess, man strength is that involved, maybe outside of punching power and things like that. So I just wanted to get your opinion on sort of if you can elaborate on those differences between mixed martial arts, kickboxing, training with men versus being in there and kickboxing, and you're like, I'm actually better than some of these guys because
Mhm.
that age doesn't really play as much of a factor,
I do feel like in MMA, like it's a lot of technique too, but
right?
there is a point where it's like if you're on top of someone and they have like they're insanely strong, they can just like basically bench press you
Right,
off
right.
you. So I do feel like in MMA I would do insanely well because
Hmm.
no one knows my ground game. My ground game is like insane. I was supposed to have an MMA fight February 22nd, but that fight fell through because the guy didn't want to make the weight.
I
And
see.
Can you touch up on that a little bit? Because I think you sent me a message about that when it happened. I don't think Harrison was familiar with the situation though.
okay, so we went through the full camp and the fight was supposed to be at 155. So that Monday I started cutting my weight and I was about um well, when I start dieting and stuff, I'll get to like 165.
Hmm.
And that Wednesday night I was 160, so I had 5 pounds. I was doing great with the cut. And I got known that found out that Wednesday night that he did not want to fight at 155. He wanted to try and fight me at 165. So I was like, that's not a smart move. Well, at first I was like, I want to fight him. I want to fight him. I want to fight anybody. And then I got sat down with my dad and my coach, and they're all like, man, that's not smart for you because he's
Yeah,
coming from 180 and you're going to fight him at 165 where you walk around at 165, but he'll be 180 when you walk in that cage. And I was like, I still want to fight. I still want to fight. But ended up calming down a little, sat down and cleared my mind, slept on it. And I was like, yeah, this isn't smart to do. So we didn't fight it.
And I think I had told you that's probably the best choice, anyways. Because in my head, I don't think he was planning to make that weight regardless. I think he was planning on getting away with not making weight and using that to his
Mm-hmm.
advantage. And
That's
in
what
the
I feel like he was
amateurs,
trying
that's
to
like
do.
really bad.
Mm-hmm.
this is
What
a
was that?
question for go ahead, Cody. Maddox, what were you gonna say? My bad.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
No, I was gonna ask you guys because at what point do you think I guess how much breathing room do you give somebody for making weight, right? And what I mean by that is if someone comes in 5 pounds overweight, do you feel that they tried to make it? Or do they have to come in around maybe 2 pounds or so? And you can say, all right, I think they were serious about the weight cut. Now, at what point do you, or what's your cutoff for you're like, they didn't even try?
Um, I feel like, well, that guy, I don't feel like he even tried because 10 pounds over
10 pounds
155.
is excessive, yeah.
And that's 2 days before before weigh-ins. I mean, if
Right.
you'd have let me know about a month ago or something like that, it'd been a maybe, but it still probably wouldn't have accepted it. But it'd been a better showing on his part.
Right.
But hold on, what was the question? I'm sorry, I forgot.
No, you're answering it because I think at 10 pounds, I don't think somebody's respecting the weight cut. That's egregious.
And
Yeah,
I also feel like if it's MMA and kickboxing, MMA, the weight plays a big factor, but kickboxing, it could play a little bit of a factor, but I don't feel like it plays as big of a factor because you're not on the ground, ain't no one laying on top of you and stuff like that.
Michael, did you want to build on that a little bit as it concerns the weight cuts and guys trying to shortcut the system?
So my thing, if you're coming in a whole weight class above me, I think I said this before on one of the, you don't deserve to fight me. That means you didn't take it serious. You didn't, something in your weight cut or decision making is not lining up.
Right.
Now, if you're like 5 pounds or something like that, I want to see you get at least 2 pounds, close to the weight that we're fighting at. If you're 2 pounds over the day of, I want to see you at least try to cut for 2 hours to make that weight. Even if you get a little bit over, like 1.5 pounds, maybe, okay, at least you work to get it off. But what's not going to happen is that I'm not going to make weight. I'm not going to sacrifice. I'm not going to diet, not drink liquids, and hurt my body to make weight when somebody else is more comfortable than I am going into this fight. Like I've always made weight. And for some reason in the amateurs, it's almost accepted. Like, okay, you didn't make weight. It's the amateurs. We're going to fight anyways. And then they get fucked up by somebody who's basically 2 weight classes above them. And let's say that 155, he comes in at 165. He's probably walking around at 182, 185 maybe. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they're playing the system, I think.
Yeah, and you guys are both bringing up a good point as far as the suffering that happens during a weight cut, right? And as an outsider looking in who hasn't had to do any weight cutting like you guys, do people really underestimate how much you guys are putting your body through as far as, not dealing with the liquids, really optimizing your diet? Does it look easier than it actually is?
Absolutely. It's so bad. Like, it's one of the worst things I've been through. Especially when I cut to 45, I'd walk around at 168 and cut to 146. I've never missed weight, but it's been close before. But you still have to, especially for those last couple pounds when you're almost there and you're like, oh, come on, will you just get off me?
You can't piss, you can't shit. It's like you have no liquid to, you have no liquid in your system to even sweat it out. So it's like, it's really struggling. It sounds like it's only 2 pounds, but it's the hardest 2 pounds in the cut.
Yeah, that's the worst.
There's this myth that when guys are cutting weight, they get sort of grumpy. They're getting into that fight mode, so to speak, like just not wanting to really deal with people. Is that true or is that a myth?
My dad says it's true. He says I'm a little asshole whenever I start cutting weight. So, I mean, I don't think it's true, but they're the people around me, so I guess it is kind of true.
No, I got you. What do you think, Michael?
No, I think it's true. I'm a little bit more irritable because you got to figure you're hungry, you're thirsty, you're starving, like you're low on energy. You got to go to work, you got to go to school. You still got to communicate with people properly. So yeah, I think it affects your emotions as far as irritability. For sure. I think so. Maybe everybody's different, but I think a little bit with everybody. I am like that too.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just curious about that because people talk about it all the time. And Maddox, I wanted to jump back into this fight that you have. We kind of talked about training camp a little bit, maybe touched on it just as far as how you're feeling. But do you have any? Are you changing anything that you normally do for this fight, or are you just keeping with the routine that's gotten to you where you are right now?
You mean like in training?
Yeah, training, maybe upping like your strength conditioning, things of that nature, getting sparring partners, or do you kind of just have your system in place and you're confident in that?
Kind of have my system in place, and it's like just my training partners are like world class. They're high level training partners, and they're getting me ready for it. Trust me. I have Day. He's my training partner. He's fought Cody. He beat Cody. And he's given me a lot of insight on it. And I feel like when everybody comes there May 10th, I'm maybe 17, and people may look at me being like, this little kid's fighting a grown man, but I feel like I'm going to shock a lot of people. I mean, I live 5 minutes from where we're fighting.
Mhm.
So I have a lot of people from my hometown coming there. I drive past that arena every single day on the way to the gym. So I feel like everybody from school is going to be there, and they're going to be like, man, Max fix to get whooped when they see that grown man walk out. But then they're going to see me lay my hands on him, and they're going to be like, oh, wow, I underestimated him.
Do you have that chip on your shoulder going into fights because you know how people are sort of looking at it like, oh, he's just a kid? Is there a chip or extra motivation there, or do you not even so much think about it?
There used to be, but now I'm starting to feel like I'm a fighter like everybody else. So I just go in there looking to take their heads off. And I really don't matter about the age no more.
No, we're on
But
the
I
same
do
page. I understand.
I
Go
do
ahead.
like to bring it up because it's like I am 17 still, you know. It's like I'm doing some things that you don't see much happen. I feel like it's pretty cool, and I like to brag. Well, not like brag about myself, but it's like I like to. I don't know. I'm confident in that ability.
Yeah,
That's a good way.
you're proud of you, what you're doing.
I'm proud of myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to not be proud of myself. I get to like sit down and I get to watch my fights, and I'm like, wow, I'm actually becoming a good fighter.
Right. No, that's a great point, and I'm glad you touched on it because there aren't a lot of guys doing what you're doing. There aren't really a lot of MMA prodigies per se, right? We see guys like Raul Rosas Jr. I think he's like a decent comparison. He might be 18 fighting on the UFC against grown men. I think he fights today, right, Michael? Or he didn't get pulled off the card?
He fights.
No, he's
tonight.
fighting the
He
Gastelum fight got canceled. But
yeah,
now he's fighting tonight.
Right. And somebody like him making that leap, and he has every reason to be proud of himself. You have every reason to be proud of yourself. And it's like, it's not something that people just do, every day. I don't really think that's normal. And I guess right now we're leading into another amateur fight, but do you think what are your aspirations in general? Is it going pro? Is it making it to the UFC, making it to the top kickboxing stage? I think they have glory, stuff like that. What are your sort of aspirations in general?
I wanna make it to UFC one day. My end goal is to do MMA.
Yeah.
But right now I'm just getting experience in front of a crowd, taking it slow, and slowly over time I will get MMA fights and I'll turn pro and slowly get some wins under me.
Yeah.
Hopefully get the call, get in the UFC, and make it to the top one day. That's my end goal.
No, understood. And I think that especially because you're starting so young, I think it's really important just to get these fights, kickboxing, whatever it is. There is no rush to go pro. And I think people can start to like try and rush you or maybe get in your ear. And I'll bring that up. Do you have people kind of saying, hey, you need to go pro? We need to start making money. Do you have that sort of chatter in the background?
I actually got the opposite. They're telling me, let's take it slow. You're 17. Let's take it slow. There's no rush here. And it feels a lot of relief. Like I can go out there and have fun right now and stuff like that. Because once you turn pro, I mean, you can still have fun doing it, but you can have a lot less fun. So right now, I'm enjoying it. I'm getting to go out there, have fun. I mean, it still sucks to go out, diet and stuff like that. But when that cage door locks, it's a lot of fun at this level. But once you get to that high level, you got to stop having fun. You got to worry about technique a lot more and stuff like that. Right now, I'm a good fighter, but like, it's like I take it serious, but not as serious as I would have to if I was a pro. You know what I mean?
No, we're on the same page. It's like there's some room to have fun in a sense. I think I get what you're saying, though. Michael, did you want to interject on that?
No, I think I'm always for amateurs and MMA taking more fights to build themselves, to learn more. Because for some reason, an amateur is like, okay, 5 fights as an amateur, let's go pro. But then you look at Usyk, he has like 300 amateur fights, then he went pro. Or you're like any boxer is having a shit ton of amateur fights. I'm not saying as a amateur MMA fighter you need to have 150 fights, but maybe you can have 12 to 15 amateur fights, build yourself, get that experience. As far as losing, being in bad scenarios, being the underdog, coming on top, catching some belts. You know what I mean? Because once you go pro, there's no going back. And I think for some reason with the amateurs, it seems to be rushed to make them go pro real quick. When really, y'all should just be learning. Like and Maddox is in a great position. He's 17. You know what I mean? Right. He has all the time to learn. He can go pro when he's 23. Maybe he might go sooner, but from 17 to 23, that's a lot of time for him to grow as an amateur, and that's a lot of time for him to build his resume as an amateur. If you're gonna jump into mixed martial arts as an AMI, because you still haven't had an MMA fight yet, so you're still early in your career. And no, I agree with your people. Definitely take your time with it because once you go pro, it's no going back.
Yeah. When you what do you think? Because you're training with guys who are pro, right? You're not pro, but you're already operating at that level, right? What do you think is the different sort of, I guess, how do you put it? What do you think is the difference between an amateur and pro as far as skill set? Do you think it's the timing? Do you think it's the technique? What have you noticed in your experiences? Like, okay, I'm dealing with somebody who's on another level, so to speak, to get you ready for your fights.
Honestly, I don't feel like there's much difference. I feel like amateur and pro are just a label.
Interesting.
I feel like you can be an amateur that's ready to go pro, but you're still an amateur. Like there could be amateurs out there that would whoop pros.
Right.
But I mean, I don't really feel there's much difference in like I feel like being an amateur, your skill level can still be as good as a pro.
Gotcha. So you think that in a sense, right? Someone who's 8-0 at amateur, it's not like they're going to show up to pro and just start sucking because pros are that much better in a sense. It's like there's a gap maybe, but it's not maybe as grand as I'm making it out to be. Like these guys are all fighters. It's just a label in your mind.
Yeah, but there is also like there is a little bit of skill, but I feel like you could still be that good as an amateur.
Mm-hmm.
Like there could be someone out there that's just an amateur that likes beating up on people that doesn't want to turn pro, but he's like insanely good that just likes to go out there and take some anger out.
Right. No, that's a good point, and I think a lot of guys sort of cherry pick, right? Especially once the guys go. Well, I guess they do it at every level. That's what I'm finding. Cherry picking at the amateurs, cherry picking in the pros. Obviously, your next fight is not a cherry pick. Ian Hibbs, not a cherry pick. What is it about your mentality that says I don't really need to pick my fights like that? It's just whoever, they sign the dotted line, they sign it. What's going through your mind? Because you're not, to me, it doesn't seem like you're just interested in looking for easy fights. It's like, who's the best? Let's run it.
I feel like when you go out there with the best, you come out of that fight a better version of yourself. So if I go out there and take the harder fights, I feel like at the end of the day, I'm going to be the better version of myself. If I go out there and cherry pick my fights and fight this like guy who's not that good and this guy who's not that good, I'm going to go out there and I'm not going to learn from it because I'm just going to go out there and run through them. You need those tough fights to go out there and like for them to take advantage of the stuff you're doing wrong, and then you can fix it at a later date after rewatching it and stuff like that.
No, that's a great point. And I wanted to kind of touch on sparring, right? What's your philosophy? And what we like to ask fighters is, what's their philosophy on sparring? For you, is it a time to sort of test your techniques, or are you guys sparring like at 90%? Or what's your gym's philosophy on sparring? How do you guys approach it?
There's days where you need to go hard. There's days where you need technique, and there's days where you just need to have fun. So if like it's one of those days where I'm real sore and stuff like that, I'm not going to go in there trying to bang with everybody. I'm going to go out there trying to flow with them, have good technique, and still get that good movement in. So it's just depending on the day. I mean, when you're in camp, you need some hard rounds, but you don't need to go hard rounds every single time. Like for me, I'm young. I don't need to be going hard rounds every time. That's going to injure my brain because I plan on being this for the long run. Right. So it's going to decrease your – can't say that word, but I have it.
I know you. Let's talk about that because I guess the being in the game for the long run, right? Do you feel like fighters should get more support? Obviously, financially, I think fighters should be compensated better, especially MMA. But do you think mixed martial arts should do a better job of looking after fighters like post-retirement? All the brain damage that can sort of come about, different injuries, and it's like MMA fighters are disrespected. Do you have the same sort of sentiments in a sense or like feelings about that?
Honestly, no. I feel like it should be like just how it is because, I mean, you chose to do this. You chose to go out there and get that brain damage and stuff like that. I mean, you don't have to do this if you don't want to do this.
True.
I mean, after retirement, I feel like, I mean, you can still have a connection with like the promotion and stuff like that. And like, if they want to do stuff for you, they can. But I mean, you did sign up for this. So
you're kind of saying you sign up for it. You know what you're getting into. Don't complain. It's what it is. Hey, I hear you. Michael, did you want to touch on that?
I hear what he's saying, but I feel like for the UFC, for example, like you got Hall of Famers like BJ Penn, Nate Diaz, Stephen Bonner was one of them. I'm trying to think of. You get the examples I'm bringing up though, but you got Hall of Famers that you have that have made your company a lot of money, and there seems to be like no help. Like once they're outside, like there's no they go broke, they go crazy, they start getting on drugs, and that's their fault. I mean, that's their life, But still, there seems to be no
support system
for people that seem to build the company. Like big names that like BJ Penn is insane, dude. That dude was huge in the UFC. Yeah. Now he's like a loony dude online. It's crazy.
He's a conspiracy theorist like me.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe you can't help everybody, but I feel like UFC has the money where you can help some of the dudes that at least build your company.
And I think me and Michael were talking about this before the call, right? Because I think Jack Mella Delana, he's fighting Bilal. And then I saw that Jack...
Who?
Bilal.
Who?
Why are you playing
JDM.
like Bilal's a scrub, man?
No, I didn't
I thought you were...
He's playing with him. He doesn't like Bilal. I don't know why.
I like Bilal.
I don't either.
How do you feel about that fight? Let's break it down, right? I'm going with Bilal. I like him. I like JDM too, but he's just not my guy. I just like Bilal. So I got Bilal winning the fight. If he plays this dumb game of just boxing with JDM, I think that's dumb. That's what he keeps saying, but I think he's trolling. But I'm taking Bilal. Maddox, who do you have winning that fight?
As much as I hate to say it, I think Bilal's going to win it. I don't think JDM's the one that's going to go out there and beat Bilal.
I don't think so. I hope he makes it a fight, though. Mike, who do you have?
I have Bilal. I like to mess with Bilal, but I'm hoping that Bilal flips the page. I told Harrison this earlier. I hope he flips the page like Usman did, because Usman kind of started off like Bilal, and then Usman started putting hands on people. I'm not sure if Bilal can do that though, but for some reason he doesn't have the popularity. Like I
think Bilal is popular because I think he's turning heel. To me,
well, he needs to do something, yeah, for sure.
If I were him, I would turn heel. I think he's getting better at it, and so yeah, I guess just turn heel. I don't know why guys don't do it more often. Kobe went heel; it helped his career. Who are the biggest heels in the UFC right now? Right?
Jamal Hill.
You said who? Jamal Hill. Yeah, he didn't want to be heel though. I don't think.
Well, he wants to be it now. Shit.
I don't really think he's turned heel yet. I don't know. Topuria, right? He's a good example of a guy who's turning heel. And so we'll touch on him because I don't like Ilia Topuria. If he has a problem with me, he can say it to my face and beat me up, probably. But what do you guys feel about Topuria? This is for both you guys. I'll start with you, Maddox. How do you feel about Topuria, his arrogance, acting like he's just the best thing since sliced bread? What do you think about it? I think it's good for the sport, though, but I don't like him.
I feel like he's one of the best in the UFC right now. I like him a lot. I mean, I love his inside boxing, and I love his style.
That's the thing. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch in the ring. Mm-hmm. Like I want to see Topuria fight. I do because he comes to brawl. But outside of that, dude, I don't like him. What do you feel about his persona, so to speak?
I don't feel like he's that good at trash talk.
He's not.
I'm not either, though, but so I can't really talk. But I don't know. I really watched enough interviews to be able to put an
opinion on it, so to speak.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that fight? How do you think he matches up with other lightweights?
I feel like he's going to shock a lot of people when he's at lightweight. I feel like he beats Islam, to be honest.
What do you think, if you could break that down further, right? Because I think Islam mauls him. Why do you think Topuria can win that fight?
A lot of people underestimate his ground game. And I feel like, but at the same time, I think Ilia is going to bring a style that you don't see people bring to Islam a lot. I mean, Ilia is going to work on trying to get on the inside, and we ain't really seen no one do that to him. The only time we really saw it was with Volkanovski, but Islam dropped Volkanovski in that inside. So I can't really tell you who's going to win that fight, but I really do feel like Ilia is going to get the better of him.
I don't think, me personally, I think Ilia loses to Poirier. I think he loses to Armin Sarukian. I think he loses to Islam. I think he doesn't beat anybody. Maybe I'm underestimating him, right? But I really want anybody. I don't think he can beat anyone. Not in the top 5. Maybe Oliveira. Maybe he can beat Oliveira. I don't think he beats Gaethje, but I want him to prove me wrong. So, in my opinion, I think he's kind of a. What do you guys feel about him getting this title shot, though? Do you feel like he deserves it? It's too soon for me. You didn't defend your belt like Volk did or anything like that, but the UFC does what they do. So, what do you guys think? Is it deserved title shot or undeserved if he gets it?
I'm not sure. I mean, who else really is there? I mean, Armin, but the UFC said they don't want Armin next. There's
Right.
Gaethje, but I don't feel like Gaethje deserves it. I feel like Gaethje will go out there and get mauled in like round 1. And then there's Oliveira, but I feel like Oliveira and Armin need to fight for a number 1 contender for 5 rounds.
I think that's a fair fight. They could run that rematch. I'm not opposed to Gaethje getting the title. I think I know what happens, though. I think Islam mauls him. But I don't see what Topuria can really bring. I think he's too small for the division. That's just what I think. But he's saying he walks around at 190 pounds or something. At least that's what I heard somebody say. I don't know if he's just talking trash or I don't know if to believe him or not. But Michael, what do you think about that?
I don't think he deserves an immediate title shot, but I believe like he deserves a top contender. And I was telling Harrison, I think Dustin Poirier, first fight at 155, Dustin's retirement fight. If Ilya wins, then he deserves that title shot. Let him get in there with him, with Islam. But I don't know. I feel like there's been champions that have done a lot more before they moved up in weight. Ilya's had 2 defenses. Right?
He's had 1 defense.
Or 1 defense. Yeah, it's crazy. You figure how many times did Anderson Silva do it before he moved up to 205?
Maybe 10, 15 times or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he has to do it that many times, but 1 time, 1 title defense straight into a title fight is insane. But no, I say give him Dustin, though. Give him Dustin. Let's see what he's about. Let's see if he can hang with a 155er. That's a fun fight for everybody, I think. And if he wins, fuck it, give him Islam.
Yeah, I don't think he beats Dustin, but you know
what?
It'll
be a fun fight.
It'll be a fun fight, right? And I think I wanted to give Maddox your opinion on one other fight. Aspinall versus Jones, right? I'm John Jones' #1 fan. But do you think this fight will happen? And if it did happen, who do you favor?
I can see it happening, but I cannot tell you who wins that fight. That's a good fight. I mean, Jones always finds a way to win, but
right.
I mean, how is he going to do against the new wave of MMA? That's the question I have. So I can't tell you who's going to win that fight. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a battle, but to your point, you said Jones just kind of knows how to win. So it's like I can't bet against John Jones, but I can look at Aspinall and know he's the goods. So if Jones leaves heavyweight, I think Aspinall, he's going to reign there. I think Aspinall's the real deal. Michael, do you think it happens or no?
I hope it happens. I don't know, man. That's a tough fight. I think Jones could figure out a way to win. I don't think Jones is stupid, though. I don't think he's going to go in there and try to box him. I think he's going to figure out how to turn it into a grappling match, win by points, and maybe look for submission. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how he finishes Aspinall. I feel like it has to be by points or something like that. But I don't know. I also see Aspinall knocking him out too, so that's a crazy fight. Will it happen? Who knows? Are they going to give him his $30 million, his $40 million?
Probably not.
It's crazy.
No,
and then he retires.
I doubt it happens, but Maddox, we don't want to take up all your time, but we do want to get your closing thoughts on your title matchup. We want to put that on Front Street for everybody because we are going to do a face-off as well.
Yeah. I'm surprised y'all didn't ask about Darius.
Oh, we can talk about that too.
Do you want to address Darius? I
want to say a little bit of something.
Okay.
He's commenting all this stuff like he did not get the offer to fight me in MMA. And he turned it down because he didn't want to fight me in Arkansas. He wanted to fight me in Texas. When he knows legally I cannot fight in Texas. So I just want to throw that out there. So y'all have y'all's own thoughts with that. He turned me down. Remember that. He just didn't want to fight me in Arkansas. He wanted to fight me in Texas, and I have to be 18 to fight in Texas. So
you said that was an MMA belt?
They're supposed to be MMA. Yes, sir.
We know both of you guys, so we don't want to. We want to give you the floor though. So, if you wanted to say Adarius, you're free to air your grievances with Maddox, but we have to let Maddox speak on his behalf as well. But Michael, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, are you still trying to pursue that fight? Because you're gonna be 18 soon, right? You said no.
No, I mean he's on a losing streak. I'm going up. He's going down. What's the point in fighting down? I've already whooped him. I feel like that fight wasn't close, and he wants to say he got robbed. You were there. You know what actually happened. I don't think he won a round.
Hey, man. I don't need everybody in my comments talking shit to me.
Hey, we'll let Adarius. We're gonna repost this, so Adarius, feel free to comment.
I can't wait to hear the lies he says.
Well, yeah, we're gonna probably have this clip up soon, ASAP, to get his opinion. But Michael, did you have anything else?
No, I don't know if I had anything else. Just best of luck. We are definitely gonna bring you on for the face-off. Me and Harrison are thinking about probably 3 weeks out from the fight. So I'll talk to Cody, and then we'll definitely line that up. Okay. So yeah, everybody look forward to that face-off. Maddox Cooper versus Cody, coming up soon.
Did you have any words for Cody before the face-off? Or
I have a lot of respect for you, Cody, and I feel like that fight's going to be absolutely amazing. I feel like everybody that is free should be there. It's going to be a bloody war, and I feel like it's going to be a 5-round war, or maybe I could finish them. And I feel like if anybody has a chance to go, you don't want to miss this fight. May 10th.
Yes, sir. May 10th, Maddox versus Cody. Is this for the belt?
Yes.
For the belt. For all the marbles, everything is on stake. Maddox, thank you for joining us. Once again, we appreciate it. I apologize I couldn't be here the first time, but I did want to talk to you, get your insight about the fight game, just everything, right? And so thanks for taking the time out your day. Michael, did you want to say anything?
No, I ain't got nothing else to say.
All right, then. Maddox, thanks again.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me on here.
I'll sign this out. Or, Michael, you sign this out.
Draconian Combat, episode 59. Maddox Cooper.